Hello and welcome to FPL Expectations with me, Craig. Game week 18. Wow, a lot of chips used there. Free hits. People taking hits, not even using chips. It all went down, and it's part one of a 2-week chip feast, if you want to call it that. Really, I'm talking about game week 18 and game week 19, where the deadline is just hours away. With me to lend their expertise is FPL Mariner and Joe. FPL boys, how are we doing?
I'm all right. I've just been
nervous laughs all round.
I've been entertained by Joe taking hits and philosophy telling him to go, just go out and get a pratter, or else you'll take him out.
I mean, we are in lockdown, so I couldn't even get a prata.
Couldn't even get that.
Yeah. You could get it delivered in, man. You could get it delivered in just to stop you taking all those hits. I mean, you were going mad this morning.
I mean, by the time the food arrives, I'm probably on -20.
Exactly.
Well, that was the danger. And for those of you who are watching who don't really understand what we're talking about right now, we will delve into that as the show goes on and explain a little bit more of why we, and when I say we, it's me and Mariner, taking the piss on a show. You will find out in due course. If you haven't already seen on his Twitter, that is. But yeah, game week 18. Wow, what a week. It was a week where a lot of free hits were used. I think everyone here took free hits. Played their free hit chip. And, well, it was a little underwhelming, wasn't it, Mariner?
I mean, I don't think I could classify mine as underwhelming because I only had 2 players. So it would have been a slight problem had I not taken a minus. I could have taken a -4 and gone for 5 or 5.5 but obviously Davis didn't play in the end, did he? So no, I would only had 5 players. So mine was a relatively easy decision, actually. And I did all right. I like to think 55 points was 10 points above the average.
More than 10, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 45 was the average, I think, wasn't it, for a free hit?
I think 45 was the average of the top 10K.
Oh, was it 45 top 10K?
13, I think, was the average overall.
Right. Okay. Well, 45. So I got 55. So from that side of it, I was quite happy. And I always said that what I was thinking is that the free hit chip, if you had 8 players and you didn't free hit, you were probably looking at 20 points. Sort of like minimum. There's that sort of area where you maybe just think that's the sort of level where I'm going to be able to try and get away with it or not. So 55, I'm quite happy as it happens. It was underwhelming, but it could have been so much different, of course, if it hadn't have been for the champagne moment of the weekend when KDB first gave the ball to Gundogan. And I bet you thought, Craig, oh, happy days.
Yeah, you did. I mean, if only you were sitting next to me on the sofa here, you should have seen my eyes light up. Gundogan to KDB was the absolute dream for me. Because Gundogan, I mean, I think everyone had KDB and probably captained him. But Gundogan was that differential which I had, which not a lot of people had, and I was looking for a tasty return from him.
No, totally. And so he gave the ball to Gundogan, and Gundogan gave it to Sterling, and the ball has last been seen orbiting the Earth. And of course, we lost out on a KDB assist because he was the one who won the penalty. He would have scored, which meant he'd have lost the assist, obviously, or maybe he'd have scored. But you'd have thought he would have scored if he'd have took the penalty. And then Sterling took it and blasted it, and it's still going up now. So I mean, 55 could easily have been 70 points.
Yeah.
So it's another one of those weeks where you just look at it and go, yeah, it might seem a little bit underwhelming, but in the bigger scheme of things, it affected everybody, that decision. Most people it affected. Bruno blanking affected most people.
Yeah, and when we're talking about KDB, we're talking about Bruno and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it didn't really matter how they returned because everyone had them.
Exactly.
So like it wasn't a big deal for me that Bruno blanked, that KDB only had an assist. You know, it was where the captain armband lied with either one. And the second one was who else was in your team? You know, like you, for example, had Son and Kane. You know, not a lot of people had them. I mean, sorry, most people had them, but it's the ones. Sorry, Lacazette was the one that I was thinking.
Oh, don't talk to me about that.
That was a massive. We spoke about that.
Don't talk to me about that fraud. You see his XG 0.01.
Was that it?
0.01. I reckon I could have got 0.01 sitting on the sideline. I mean, clearly, I only watched the highlights of the game, and there weren't any.
It was so short; it was unreal. I think a Leno save was the only one.
See him. I don't think I saw Lacazette in the highlights.
He wasn't in. Yeah,
that was a shame. Because I honestly thought that could have been the golden one, as you mentioned there. But look, he's in now. He's not coming back into my side, and he has joined Callum Wilson, Richarlison, and Shea Adams in the Hall of Shame. So never to be seen again in my side. I mean, just very quickly, just looking at the rest, Craig. Double Man City defence paid off. It was a gamble. It's always a gamble, but it paid off. And you know, credit to my pal Lenz for talking me into doubling up on them because I wasn't going to, and he made me look at the recent stats for City, and then it was pretty obvious that was the right call. Leno only just clung on to that clean sheet with what was a world-class save off Benteke.
What a save.
Rashford assist. Well, you know, it was a fantasy assist, really. It wasn't. You know, it was a great finish.
It wasn't on a plate, was it?
No, it wasn't on a plate. And Kane does what Kane does. Which is score goals. So
Son was the one which was also a little bit. I mean, he hit the post, and you know, he hit the post, and then Fulham went up the other end and scored, and that ruined our dire cleano.
Well, there is that. And I mean, you know, Son, you know, 4 big chances.
Yeah.
I think we said it last. It was XG of 1.5. And
more than that, I think.
It's more than that. Anyway, so it's balanced. Anyway, for the first time, probably this season, Son has actually moved back from overperforming slightly. Because I mean, both of them are massively overperforming their stats because they're playing so well. So I think that's a blip. I mean, look, he's still getting chances, but he did look a tiny bit tired, I thought.
He did, and that was after a rest as well. So I don't know if there was a bit of rustiness there, but you know, it was crazy because if Son had scored that goal, you know, the chance where he hit the post, that would have been points for us. And then, you know, you would have thought that Spurs would have closed the game out and seen it out without conceding. So we missed out on two big hauls there.
You said that, but the joys of FPL and expected ownership, every single goal or assist by Son or Kane, I was losing points,
losing ranks,
every single goal, even though I owned them both, because some people had captained them.
Okay, all right.
So I don't know if anybody's seen. I'll give them a plug. It's a fantastic website, livefpl.net.
Yeah.
If you go and have a look on that, you can predict how your scores would be or where your rank would be with certain returns. So, you know, I was just playing around with it, and as I say, I would lose rank with a goal by Son and an assist by Kane, even though I owned them.
Okay, 55 points, fantastic for you, and I see you've moved up to
7K.
I'm getting confident, top 10K in the world.
Nosebleed territory. I think to be honest, interestingly enough, and this is where I use this live FPL. I was messing around on the group, and I put in that Lacazette scored twice, Smith Rowe scored twice, and I got a clean sheet. And I'd have been at 2K.
Not asking a lot.
No, I'm very happy. I'm happy enough with it. So yeah, it was just one of those weeks where maybe feels a bit underwhelming, but in the bigger scheme of things, yeah, I'm very happy.
Okay, we'll come back to you when we look at your game week 19 and your team and the plans that you have for that. Joe, we're going to pop over to your team and talk us through your game week 18. 60 points, comfortably above the average, a whole 30 points, in fact. And it's green arrows all the way for you.
Yeah, I think pretty much the same as Mariners team, except I have one Bisaka instead of Dyer. So that's where the extra points came from.
Yeah.
And also I think I had Diaz, so that's the extra 1 point over Cancelo. So yep, extra 5 points.
Extra 5 points. And I mean, we don't have to talk too much because Mariner obviously covered most of it.
Yeah.
AWB was your backup. Any regrets for game week 18 in terms of captaincy? Do you reckon, you would have maybe given it to Kane? Was that something that crossed your mind?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Kane wasn't in my thoughts.
Okay.
It was either KDB or Bruno.
Yeah.
But yeah, thankfully I went for KDB. But overall, I would consider this free hit a success because I think I had 30 average extra more than the average. I mean, 30 points more than the average.
Yeah.
So basically, I would probably consider each chip to be considered a good week for the chip use. Maybe like 20 points and above, 20 points extra from that chip. I mean, considering without, if you look back at my game week 17 team, I would have only Son and Bruno playing for me on game week 18. So yeah, I mean, I definitely went all in with a free hit. No questions about that.
Okay, perfect. While we're on your game week 18 team, well, let's have a look at your game week 19 and talk us through what your plans are. Are you bench boosting? Are you triple captaining? Or you're not playing a chip?
Okay. So here goes my team for game week 19. So basically, I've took a minus 12. Unprecedented. First time in my, as far as I can remember,
FPL history.
Yep.
Okay, and talk us. I mean, for everyone out there, this is what we were talking about at the start of the show. Joe woke up. I think it was this morning, wasn't it? And decided to go a little bit trigger happy. And we saw this last week actually when he activated his free hit chip way too early. But in the end, it was all right. But I mean, minus 12. I mean, for a player like yourself, I mean, this is not something that you usually do. Talk us behind the thinking of it. I mean, it's so unlike you to do something like this.
Actually, Craig, this is my inner me, to be honest.
Okay.
Because last season, I think there was a Twitter account that called Analyze FPL or something like that. He collected data from probably 100 FPL managers, and he did mine, and I actually won an award for the most trigger happy.
Okay.
Meaning most of my transfers made throughout the whole season was, I think, just 1 or 2 days after the previous deadline.
Yeah.
So wow. I think I got the impatient award or something like that. So this season I actually I actually put it down a little bit. Prior to this, I only took 2 hits, which is actually quite uncharacteristic of me. But yesterday night I was thinking, I don't know what to do. Basically, I was thinking either I just go without City assets and West Ham assets to taking a minus 12. So this morning I woke up, and the price rise was 9:30 a.m. You know, I was like,
It was,
oh, no.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, KDB is going to rise, Stones is going to rise, Antonio is due to rise as well. So I was like, you know, screw it. I initially took a -8 before the price change.
Yeah.
And after that, I saw Lamptey on a bench.
Good old Lamptey. Good old Lamptey.
Yeah, because Taylor was in my starting lineup, and he was a doubt for West Ham, but he should play for Liverpool, which is actually not a good fixture for Burnley. So alternatively, I could play Kyle Walker-Peters with only a single game week against Leicester, which is not ideal as well. So I was like, screw it, you know, throw Lamptey, put Lamptey in the bin, brought in Kufal for a hit. So hopefully, you know, pays off. At least I mean, if it doesn't pays off in this double game week, I was hoping, you know, at least a longer term, because Lamptey is really all hype and no results.
Okay, just looking at your team now, we can see clearly on your screen that you've opted against the bench boost.
Yep.
And in fact, you've played your triple captain.
I mean, you know, I think it was like since game week 15, I've been planning to play the triple captainship for game week 19. Yeah. It's just initially I was on Mo Salah, but currently on KDB, because I think during then we didn't expect City to have a double game week, and looking at the fixtures and looking at the underlying stats between Salah and De Bruyne over the past few game weeks, you know, KDB's stats actually screams a haul soon. Hopefully in the double game week. So currently, you know, I mean, I can still deactivate the triple captainship.
You can. I was just going to say you can. You still have time. And for those of you watching who are not aware of this, if you have activated your triple captain, you still have time to deactivate it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the one chip that you're allowed to deactivate, right?
I think you can deactivate the bench boost as well.
Oh, you can.
Yep.
All right. So guys, if you have accidentally or you've had a change of heart in terms of what you want to do for game week 19, you can still get out of any chips that you've decided to play just before the deadline. So there's a nice little tip for you. But so you've gone with the triple captain on KDB. Does what Pep said have any, you know, does it scare you a little bit? Because off air we were just discussing this, and the reason why KDB didn't take the penalty in the last match was down to the fact that he was tired. Now we know KDB was rested for the Champions League, played a lot of the league matches.
And against Birmingham.
Yeah, and Pep said he wouldn't rest him during this festive period. Do you see him getting a rest in one of those two games?
To be honest, you know, initially after knowing Pep's, I mean, you know, hearing from Pep, you know, I was concerned. At a point, I wasn't even planning to bring him in. But looking at their position right now, they have two very winnable games at home. Villa, we have no idea, you know, how thin their squad is going to be, and how much they are. Yeah, how fit they are exactly. You know, I think most of the time they were only like doing personal training at home because due to isolation, and you know how we all know how vulnerable Palace can be away. So and with the quality City is having, these two games is definitely a must win for them, because I think by winning these two games, if I'm not mistaken, it will probably push them up to second or third, at least third place.
Yeah.
So you know, this is a must win for them. And I've looked through KDB's matches before this. Like what you mentioned, he was only rested for the last Champions League game, and he played every game since, even in the match against Birmingham. So definitely a concern right there. But I can't see him not starting both games. Minutes managed, yes, but not rested, in my opinion.
Okay, perfect. So triple captain for you. Wish you all the best on that one. Marino, we're going to shoot over to you and find out what you're doing. We know Joe's obviously activated the TC. Have you gone for the bench boost? Yes or no?
No, and it was never on the table really. Right back to the debacle with Chilwell and Lampard a few weeks ago, which pretty much derailed me. So no, I'm just going to be going in with 10 double game weekers. I'm probably unlikely to trigger the triple captain, although I have been hovering over it.
You have said you were tempted.
I am. Yeah, I am tempted. I agree with Joe. I think De Bruyne will start both games. I think his minutes will be managed, and I think his rest will be the FA Cup the following weekend. So that would be my perspective. I'm hoping that because I've took Son out for it, which was always a bit of it, because there's been a lot of debate about Son in a single game week against KDB as a double game week in the recent days. But I think on balance, KDB 2 games, 2 home games, Crystal Palace, Villa. We don't know who, which side Villa are going to put out. I think he's a solid captaincy choice this week. Consequently, I brought him in. And the other change I made was DCL out, sadly, because the only reason, obviously his form's dipped, but I've had him since the start of the season, so I've had to lose a bit of value. And I've gone with Antonio. And to be honest, I've been waiting to put Antonio into my team for quite a while.
Yep.
And I've been itching to put Antonio into my team for quite a while. Now, is he also going to have his minutes managed? It is possible. But he did play 90 minutes on a stinking night in Stockport.
Yep.
So if you've got to assume he's fit.
Yeah.
Haller has gone. There is talk of the young lad maybe getting some minutes. I tried to find his name. He's not even on the game, I don't think.
It's the one from United, right?
Right, I don't know, but he's not even in the game.
He's not even in the FPL.
Yeah, so I think Antonio is a very, very solid option in what is a bit of a wasteland at the moment in that sort of bracket. We've obviously got Joe's mate Wood there. We've got Watkins, who we don't know whether he's got COVID or not. There's been some rumours that he might. And again, we've said this, there's been a lot of debate about COVID. Anyone who has had COVID, just like if it affects me or you, or any of people watching, you don't know how long it's going to take before you get back to full steam.
Yep.
So I don't think you can assume just because a footballer's got COVID, they're going to be back in one game week, or they're going to miss one game week. So we really don't know that. So I've gone with Antonio.
I'm just going to ask you: is it an issue that, or is it hard to kind of predict? Because Villa didn't exactly say who was down. We've seen a lot of rumours on the internet, but they didn't come out and say that they had X amount of players that had been tested positive. It was more of it was something to do with their coaching staff, wasn't it? And then they decided to close the training ground, decided to isolate. Was that right? Am I right in thinking that?
I'm sure they said there was a number of first teamers affected.
The first teamers.
Okay. I think it was a mixture of staff and the first team. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Mariner regarding COVID affected players, because it firstly it depends on whether is it asymptomatic or symptomatic, So, but clubs they don't usually disclose this kind of information. You would you hope the player that you have is even though he's down with COVID, he's asymptomatic or symptomatic? This is all guesswork. So, like, if I'm not mistaken, Pogba did share before when he was down with COVID, he was really struggling, even in training, even he was struggling quite long to actually bring him back up to speed.
To regain his fitness,
yeah. So it really depends on each player. How it's a personal battle, really. Like, some players can recover faster, some took really long. So if, like, I echo what Mariner says yesterday. If he has a player that is down with COVID, he's removing him. I agree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes the Villa selections for anybody a little bit complicated. So if anybody's thinking of bringing a Villa player in now, I've got to, so I'm going to hold them. I've got no option. But for bringing a Villa player in, that might be a little bit dangerous. So Craig, so I'm going to go with 10. Treble West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, we know all about Souček's qualities, and you do have a great a metric on him, don't you, in terms of headed?
I do. I'll just share this if you like. I'm just going to move across to it now.
There you go. Because we can go nicely to who the players to target anyway.
What I'd like to do first of all is just share something that Lenz shared with me on my show last night, and I thought I'd bring this to the table for us as well. I think it's really, really useful. And this is courtesy of Fantasy Football Scout. And this is Souček's heat maps between games 1 and 11 on the left and games 12 and 17 on the right. And you can see that he's gone from a defensive midfielder into an attacking midfielder in the last few weeks. Now, this could be to do with the fact that West Ham have changed to 4 at the back since Masuaku being out. But he's certainly a lot more attacking, and I'm sure I'm trying to rack my brains off the exact number. But the vast majority of his penalty box touches, Souček, have been in the last 4 games for the whole season. So he's had more touches in the penalty box recently as well. So Souček to me looks a very, very nice option. If I just take it just back a step to the metric, which we've called Tuchel Watch for potato salad lovers everywhere, just to and you'll see that his matchups, the Burnley matchup isn't great, but the West Brom matchup is really green, and that suggests that West Brom concede a lot of headed chances. So that bodes well for Koufal, for people who own for Cresswell, for people who own Antonio, because Antonio can head a ball as well, can't he? So it's people who can deliver the ball or head the ball. So you've got Souček, Antonio, Cresswell, Koufal. All those players against West Brom look really, really quite tasty, particularly with a headed matchup. But of course, as we've been joking, we talk about Souček Watch for headers, but he keeps scoring with his boot.
I mean, I've actually checked through the Fantasy Hub stats this morning. I was looking at Souček. I was like, where are all the headers? he didn't actually hit that much for the past 5 game weeks.
You're right, but he's been so unlucky. He's had He's had quite a number of headed chances, and I just think this. Yeah, I mean, we're not quite going to go as far as some people who have mentioned triple captaining Souček.
Who's mentioned that?
Sniver from FPL Banger.
Oh my no, that is
No,
way too risky.
We're not going there. We're not going there. But do you know what? I wouldn't captain him, but I could see some people might quite fancy a little, make fantasy fun again and go for it, because he's got a good option for double-figure returns this game week without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh man, Mariner, you're making me thinking of my -16.
Which one are you? You go Souček.
Joe, refrain. That's the only advice I can give you. Refrain.
I think
Hold it in.
I was going to say one thing I will also mention is I've highlighted Chelsea. Chelsea's game against Fulham screams something for one of those big centre halves to climb and get something for Chelsea as well. So Zuma.
I did see the shout out you gave me yesterday on your show, Marin, when we talked about that Zuma. The time when you did mention that Zuma's a real threat in the air and you could see him scoring, and I think we bet a beer on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Still
that's
do
right.
It's
one of those weeks. I think they've got a fairly good chance. But although, like I say, Fulham have tightened up quite a lot at the back, haven't they? To be fair to them,
they have. Are there any players, Joe, that if people out there and guys out there who still haven't made their transfers yet are still contemplating? Who else should we be targeting for Game Week 19?
I mean,
we spoke about Chelsea. I mean, Mariner touched on Chelsea. I mean, we haven't mentioned the likes of Timo Werner. I know we've all been burned by him, in the first half of the season. But I mean, he scored a goal in the FA Cup. Has his confidence come back? He's had a bit of a rest now. Chelsea had some time on the training ground to work on stuff, and I think Frank Lampard said that in his press conference yesterday. In terms of Chelsea assets, is Werner under consideration? I mean, I think it was Late Riser who's actually brought him in.
Yeah, it was.
Yep, and it triggered the whole FPL community.
Yeah, it did because after that I just kept saying, I'm bringing Werner in, and I'm thinking, wow, okay. I mean, unless you know something that we don't, he's been at Cobham and has seen those training sessions. I mean, tempted or not?
Not for me, to be honest. But if I were to go for a Chelsea asset, I'll probably look at Chilwell again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since Ziyech is back, Chilwell will be a great option again.
Chilwell's I mean, Ziyech, we don't know how fit he is as well, and that's the tough thing. He's been plays a few games, gets injured again, and it's been stop-start for him since he's come to Chelsea. Fantastic player as he is, but you have some really good Chelsea assets. I think Reece James was back in training as well.
Yep. Yes.
And we know about the quality that he has. Chelsea have got tasty games.
Yeah, I mean, and another good consideration is Mason Mount, but whether Ziyech being back will affect his output, we wouldn't know. So yeah, I mean, at that price point, Mason Mount could be worth a shot as well.
All right, Mariner, any other place to add to this?
On the Chelsea side of things, I mean, look,
just in general for Game Week 19.
First of all, let me just give you my view on Timo Werner. No. That's me. But credit to Late Riser, he does pick these out, and Werner doesn't become a terrible player, but I've had a terrible experience with him, and I think that's the reason why I'm going away. But the matchup's not bad, If we're talking about double game weekers, there's a lot of people are taking the Spurs assets out. I have, but I don't think it's totally essential to take them out. Not against Sheffield United. I think the lineup, the way that Sheffield United set up suits Son, not Kane.
Yep.
So I think it's a Son game, not a Kane game.
Okay.
Whereas last week was the other way around, in my opinion. So I think if you have Son, and you're not in any desperate, unless you're really desperate to do something and bring a doubler in, I think he may well match some of the double game weekers this week.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Definitely.
And apart from that, you'll see from the fixture difficulties there, Craig, that I've highlighted Villa. They've got good matchups, attacking wise and defensively, actually, although we don't know who's going to play. Liverpool do not have great matchups. And the reason for that is because their stats have just gone off a cliff, really, in recent weeks, as have Salah's, which puts me off a tiny bit, but I cannot see them not turning up against Manchester United. And then realistically, if you look at the big green line about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see Manchester City, won't you?
Yeah.
So,
Take good fixtures for them.
Gundogan is still a great option, in my opinion.
Definitely.
And in fact, there's some quite interesting players in that 5 million sort of range now. So we've obviously talked about Souček, and you can throw Gundogan in there as well now as a quite interesting option. So I wouldn't be objectionable if people went for and had a little punt on Gundogan, but if you are tripling on City, if you've managed to get yourself tripling on City, which I haven't, I've only got one, then I still think it's two defenders. I think the run of the fixtures going forward just screams double City defence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to move on to the captain metric that you so kindly do for us, Mariner. GW18, obviously, quite a few options there for us to choose from. You've got your Bruno, you've got KDB, you've got some Chelsea assets if you fancy it. You've even got Mikel Antonio or Thomas Souček. But what does the metric say, Mariner?
Yeah, well, I've kicked the metric a few times and shook it around and see what flew out. And look, I said this a couple of weeks ago. I said Fernandes, when Fernandes' fixtures are good, it's going to throw Fernandes out. But we've got to remember, on any other game week, Fernandes would probably be a very, very good captaincy choice this week. He probably still is. But if he picks a yellow card up against Liverpool, and they may well be out to try and get him booked as well with a bit of a petulant, because he does have a little petulant streak, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And if he picks a yellow card up, he misses the next game.
Yeah, I think his fourth one that he picked up, it was actually for arguing with the referee, if I remember correctly.
Silly then.
Yep.
But that really, I mean, obviously the metric doesn't know anything about yellow cards. It looks at returns, it looks at fixtures, and it looks at expected points. And it doesn't take that into account. And on any other given day, Bruno would be an extremely good choice. But for this reason, and the fact it's a double game week, and the second game is probably more in his favour than the first game, I will not be captaining Bruno this week. That would be my view. Interestingly enough, though, the referee, I think, who is reffing the Man United and Liverpool game, I think he's well known for giving Manchester United penalties. So that might go in. That might go in his favour.
What are you trying to hit there, Mariner? Eh? What are you trying to hit? Look, Klopp has played it smart and tried to try to get into the referee's mind there. And obviously, just running down the rest of it, De Bruyne obviously is a very, very good captaincy option. He's got the fixture. He's got his returns are okay, not the standard of Fernandes. Form is there. His underlying stats are amazing. And again, we're almost just waiting for him to explode, aren't we?
Yeah.
And is this going to be the week? I would possibly say, even with managed minutes, I think yes, it probably will be. That's my view, and that's where I'm siding. Sterling, someone said he was a trap. He probably is, but those games you never know. Sterling doesn't become a bad player overnight.
Yeah,
but
well rested as well,
and he's rested, and I think he'll play. And that,
he will play both games.
Could Sterling be the top point scorer for City this double game week? I wouldn't bet against that. Personally, I wouldn't bet against it. I wouldn't bet for it either. Quite frankly, I'd sit on the fence, but I don't think it's a terrible choice. But interestingly enough, look, Salah's quite a long way down, and that's just because of the blanks, and also the fact that his form is down. So, are you brave enough?
2 home games, though.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. That's the thing. So I think, being honest with you, Craig, the point I'm making here is I think we can find an argument to not captain any of those 3. And most definitely an argument not to triple captain them.
I mean, just to give an update, I just saw on Twitter, Big Man Baka.
Yeah.
He has just announced that he will triple captain KDB.
Wow. Because he did mention yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, he did mention that he's going to hold it to late and decide what he was going to do. And he was one of the ones, to be fair to him, that was contemplating not even using a chip this week.
Yeah, but he just tweeted.
Okay, interesting. So, Mariner, I don't know how that affects you and your decision. I know you're your own man. I know that, and I know you don't follow the top players in the world like Late Riser and Big Man Baka. But when you get tweets like that coming out just before the deadline,
no, and it's one of those ones which it is each your own. Do you think if there's a better option? That's the question.
Yeah. But I think the question about this and what some of us, I mean, me and you, for example, aren't thinking about it is we're looking so far ahead, and we're looking ahead because we know for a fact there are double game weeks to come. Yes. We know for a fact that there could be a cluster, but there could even be a triple game week somewhere along the line. It's not it's not
impossible. Yeah.
It's not impossible to think that. And with someone like Spurs, I think they've already got a confirmed double game week in further down 26. The line. Yeah, but that could easily become a triple. And there were hints of Villa having that this week even. So I mean, yes, we're gambling for sure. We're definitely gambling, but it could. Yeah. I mean, there could be something to it as well.
I think you've just persuaded me. I'm a Grealish triple game week.
Yeah,
because. Yeah, I mean,
that is the thing. That is the kind of thinking, because it is not a normal season. I mean, we've got to keep telling ourselves that it's not a normal season.
But I do see what Big Man Baka is saying, though, because you just got to play what's in front of you.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Correct.
So you think that is the right. I'm not saying it's the wrong move.
Yeah,
I'm probably 60-40 against it at this moment in time. But we have another 45 minutes till the deadline, and did you just notice my team sneak its way onto the screen?
I did. I saw that.
Yeah, and so it's there, and I might even change things before the deadline just to bring some light relief and entertainment to the rest of the gang, watching me suffer as usual. But no, I think the metric is for this week. I think it's wrong.
Okay. So KDB is the man's captain.
Yeah. Do you want to see what the cat wants? Do you want to see what the cat wanted to do?
Let's see what Oliver the cat would like.
Right. Oh God, here we go. Right, hang on. Right. So what I do is I've been putting a poll out, and the poll came up with KDB, Salah, and Bruno. And I was going to do a 3-way thing, but I thought, but the cat loves Bruno that much, because it picks him a lot. I don't know how, but it does. So I thought, no, I'm not. I'm only going to do 2 ways. So here we go. So let's see if it works. It should work. And as I said last night when I showed this, he's gone left again.
Yeah.
Every
He
time
loves-
he thought
he
about
loves
it.
And you ever contemplated switching it up?
before.
So the cat went for KDB, everybody, and I think it's Simeon who always says, "I will always captain Oliver's choice if he does not top the metric."
Wow. Okay, there we go. That's how much trust some of our viewers have.
I mean, look, otherwise, I'm not going to give you the address. Otherwise, I'm not going to have, bomb threats and anything like that. People triple captain him
Kidnap,
kidnap the cat. I mean, but I will promise if somebody triple captains him, I will turn him into a pair of slippers. So,
All right, we're 45 minutes till the deadline. We've got to answer some questions, help out our viewers that have so kindly tuned in, and see how we can help them with 45 minutes to go. I'm going to just scroll up and see some of the questions that have been put up. Thank you, everyone, once again for tuning in. It has been a really good episode, and I know there's so much uncertainty on what to do, which chip to use, how many hits to take. Hope that's been cleared up and see what both our experts have done. But one of the first questions that I saw was from Daff, and it was, can you see Cancelo starting both games?
Oh, this is a tough one. I got a feeling that he might be rested for one. He might.
Okay. He's played a lot of football, and Carl Walker's back as well.
Yeah, and somehow, somewhere, his name was singled out by Pep. I no idea why. It's not
in the press conference. Yeah, I saw everyone going. The whole Twitter in the FPL community went a bit crazy over that. Yeah.
He's started the last 7 league games. He played 90 minutes in the last 7 league games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say, Mariner?
I think he might be due a rest.
Okay. Going to move on. The D production. Sorry, Joe, I'm covering you a little bit, but I bought Son at 9, currently worth 9.7, so I can sell him for 9.3. He could drop more. I want to bring in the future Bruno Fernandes too. Should I switch them now for -4 and bring Son later after his price drops? I do think his price dropped last night, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's due to drop again today.
He might. Because
I doubt he'll drop today. I think the moves will calm down before the deadline. I think they see the big shifts before the deadline comes, and of course the actual deadline for transfers is tomorrow, isn't it? So it may be that he might not drop again. But I mean, you want to bring in Bruno Fernandes now over Son?
No.
Well, especially when we've just kind of said that he's on a yellow card. If he does get a silly one against Liverpool, it means he misses Fulham.
And if he gets a silly one against Fulham and if he gets a silly one against Fulham and misses Sheffield United, and after that it's okay, because then after 19 games, then they fall away again.
Correct. All right. I think you like this, Mariner. I came here for Oliver's pick.
Most people do. No, but everyone ignores the metric now. They just want to see what the cat wants.
We got Urban Infinity. He said his current team is, and then he
didn't
really put it up.
It's
low. Yeah.
My
current team is low as well.
Yeah.
Moyes said Antonio is not going to be rushed into the starting 11. I'm really scared. But he did. He played 90 minutes in the FA Cup, didn't he?
He played
90.
He played 90 minutes on a ploughed field in Stockport.
Yeah. So if that's not rushing, then I don't know what is.
If he's got a dodgy hammy, the last thing you're going to do is play him on a cold night in the FA Cup 3rd round for 90 minutes at Stockport.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think his minutes will be managed. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll probably play 70 minutes both games.
All right. There you have it, Ken. It's good enough for most of us here because we all have Mikel Antonio. Urban Infinity, I'm looking for a second keeper to use with the bench boost and have 5.5 million to play with. what would you say are the best options? I have Martinez and can't get a West Ham United goalkeeper. I'm guessing he has 3 West Hams. That's why he can't get a West Ham keeper. Would you say Mendy for around that price? Because he's a keeper that we brought up before. And they've got decent fixtures, Chelsea.
I mean, he's just expensive, isn't he? That's the problem.
Well, he's got 5.5 to play with.
Yeah, what do you want to use that 5.5 to just have to then book in a transfer to take them back out again? That's always my concern. I think if you're looking at a game week in event this week in isolation, maybe, but again, we've got to be careful we don't get too game week 19 centric. There's the bigger picture to think about, which is you're going to lock a move in further on. And whereas if you're going to be wildcarding like me in 25 or something like that, you might be able to run with a 4.5 keeper till then, and not necessarily without it burning your team up.
I've seen Sam Johnston in a lot of teams, and he's got the highest saves in the Premier League so far.
Good job, isn't it?
No cup of tea for him while he's playing, but could that be? I know West Brom concede a lot, but would that be an option, or is that you're just asking for a minus there?
I don't know, because West Brom, although Johnson saves a lot, but overall as a team they are still bad. I would probably go for the Fulham keeper instead.
I agree. Or even, I imagine he's not got a double game week, has he? No, I was going to say Meslier, but no. I think for a double game week, I think if you're looking for a double game week, and now, I think I would go with the Fulham keeper.
Yeah,
Areola. Is it?
Yeah, Areola. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Ali Sufyan. Saw Twitter conversation between Ben Crellin and Lego Man on Leeds versus Southampton to be played, but it's just a hope. And this is something that I actually put on our group chat, didn't I, this morning, Joe? And it was something that Ralph Hasenhüttl came out and said that, and he said, we're still preparing for the Leeds fixture. But what I would say, and sorry guys, taking this away from you, what I would say is that the broadcasters play a big role in this. And I think, it's been announced then that this match won't take place. I can't see it coming back into the fixture.
Well, if it does, then you'll hear the scream from KL from Singapore, mate. Because I've got Leeds players scattered all over. Leeds and Southampton players scattered, just waiting for a double game week. And if I bench them and then find there's a double game week, the Mariner is not going to be impressed. I can't see them doing it. I can't see it.
I mean, personally, I would be super buzzing, because I have 2 Leeds players in my starting lineup. But I agree with Mariner. I can't see it happening. I think because they also received news that Shrewsbury's manager is COVID positive. But I think Shrewsbury announced that the assistant manager will be managing that match. So as long as the Shrewsbury match goes ahead, I don't see the Leeds versus Southampton game to be played. But that again, it's just Ralph's Hasenhüttl's. As a manager, it is within his right to be prepared, because so many things happen this season. Like you can see Scott Parker, suddenly the Spurs match being thrown to them. But credit to them, they did well. But it was really unexpected, and games being cancelled as well last minute. So as a manager, I would be prepared for all possibilities.
Okay, quickly sticking with Ali Sufyan, would you bench boost with 10 game week players and 5 single game weeks? All 15 are starting players. Quick, yes or no?
Who are they?
But they're all starting players. They're all starting players.
Remember what we need from the bare minimum of a bench boost, really, should be 4 players scoring 4 points each.
Mm-hmm.
Bare minimum.
Yep.
In my opinion. So at least he's got 4 players. So if they play both games, there's your 4 points each. Anything above that is okay. But what I would say is that, you'd normally put I tend to put my cheapest players on the bench when I'm bench boosting. It's just a habit. But it really depends who you've got. I mean, if he's got players like Kyle Walker-Peters, I don't know, Bamford, Dallas, these are the sort of players I think you'll see on the bench this week.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Waffle 57 asks, already on a -8, still have enough money to move Che Adams to Mikel Antonio, go or no go? Please advise. These are the perfect 2 people to ask, because we have one that absolutely hates Che Adams, and we've got another one that's on a -12. So to do it or not to do, Joe?
Press that button right now. Do it.
Do it, Mariner.
It's a gamble, but he's got 1 extra game, and Adams's fixtures are not great. Antonio's fixtures are not great. I don't know. I'm a bit adverse going to 12. Even I might keep Adams at that point. That's
That says a lot. Trust me, guys.
But remember, Ings is out, and Adams will be the focal point at this moment for Southampton.
But I mean, somehow I from the matches I watch, somehow with Ings, Adams tend to do better. Just a short eye test.
We said that, and then when he was out last time, we said, "Oh yeah, his output will drop," and it didn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, I mean, look, it's one of those. This is a really interesting one because basically you've got that extra game, so the hit's only going to cost you 2 points.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You'd hope. So your hit only costs you 2 points, so you don't need much to turn that into profit. But 12 points depends where you sit in your rank, but where you sit. But
12 points is
tell you now, you will look at your live rank. Don't look at your live rank till the end of the game week.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was sweating over -4. Can't imagine what Joe was doing on a -12. We're going to go to more sick person. Should I take a punt on Cavani for a differential pick, since there are so many people going for Antonio now, and it's a doubt he will even start? Cavani, yes or no?
Martial's flagged, isn't he?
He's flagged. He's a doubt.
Yep.
So we don't know the status on that.
I mean, Ole did mention he will be given every chance to be fit, but this means Cavani should be nailed.
Yeah.
So yes for me.
Yes,
I don't think I'd be objectional to that for a bit of fun.
Okay.
I would say though, I still maintain that Antonio is not just a pick for game week 19. He's probably a pick till the end of the season if his legs don't fall off.
Okay. This is a very interesting one. Souček or Kufal for captain? Wow.
Souček. Souček.
Oh. Souček. Okay, we're going to move on. Mariner's not even going to bother answer that.
No, hang on. I'm going to answer this. Not if you own KDB or Salah.
All right. There you go. Hadi Ryan asked, who do I bench? I've got Dyer, Seiss, and currently got 10 to 11 double game week players.
Ooh. Dyer, Sheffield United, probable clean sheet. Seiss, West Brom. Local derby, maybe not a clean sheet.
Interesting.
But he's more attacking, isn't he?
It's not, but he could get a return. But I have to say, have you ever seen a Black Country derby?
Not West Brom and Wolves.
They're normally a battle. I've got a friend who's from from near the ground at West Brom.
Well, they used to live in the Midlands.
I was going to say, I tell you what, there's no love lost there. What?
Yeah.
One bit. Okay, so that there could be goals in that actually. So if you think Sice might get a goal,
yeah, I think with Sice it's his attacking.
Well, he heads the ball. He heads the ball, doesn't he? So, and the metric, the metric doesn't necessarily like West Brom, does it? So I'm just looking to see what the headed metric is for. I never thought of this one for Wolves against West Brom. Yeah, Sice.
Yeah,
I'd probably give Sice a run and bench Dyer, but that's just me. I think it's boring, Dyer. I think Dyer's a boring pick.
Yeah, boring.
Okay.
I will bench A as well.
Let's see who else we got. Astrolicious. Don't know what to do. Here we go.
Is that it? Oh no,
I don't really know what to do. Should I swap Dallas out for Cresswell, Bamford for Antonio, and play bench boost, or just hold, or just part of any of that? Well, I think his question is basically, should he play the double game bench boost for the double game week? And it really depends on how many plays he has, right?
Yeah, I saw this last night and I can't remember, I'm afraid. I mean, Dallas for Cresswell, 2 games. I've already said that I think they might do okay. Dallas is a decent. Dallas will have some. Obviously, Leeds have got some games to be rearranged in the weeks to come as well, and I think the fixtures aren't bad from memory. Bamford for Antonio. I don't know. I'm not so sure. Maybe I might do Cresswell for Dallas. There.
Cresswell to that. Okay.
I don't know that. I mean, Bamford against Brighton could easily get a couple of goals.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on with that. Vincent says, Joe, you're a legend, minus 12 points. What do you guys think of Kane and Son? They have become differential picks all of a sudden. I do think we covered that earlier on in the show, Vincent, and I'm sure you were logged on then, so you would have seen. We do think Kane and Son are good picks with Sheffield United.
They're still owned by 56% and 41%, so they're not that differential.
There you go. There you go. Ali Sufyan again had both Son and Kane, sold Kane and keep Son. Thank you, Mariner, for saying it's Son game. Cheers. So giving him a bit of confidence there.
Right. Well, actually, I've sold him, so I'm probably going to regret that, aren't I?
Devindra asked, is going for double game week 26 without a bench boost and an FPL, is it an FPL sin? It really depends how you play this game, isn't it, boys?
Joe, do you want to take this one?
I think I answered it in the comments. I said yes. But I mean, look, I think I've seen Ben Credence tweet this morning. You know, he was mentioning the double game week 26. The probable game weeks, and you know, it looks really tasty, especially for teams like, you know, finally like Leeds. Hopefully, they can finally get their double game week. So you know, you have so many budget players there, and Spurs will finally get their double game week as well, and most probably City will have another double game week.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if the COVID situation calms down a little bit by 26, which is a while away actually, that I might go into that with triple of all those teams you've just said.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully the lockdown in the UK will help with flattening the curve a little bit, and then things settle down by then.
But the vaccine, really, because they're vaccinating about 300,000 to 400,000 people a day at the moment, so then that's going to go up. So hopefully, by the time we get to that point, it might actually improve a little bit. But you know, Spurs are going to. By the time you get to game week 23, you're probably going to want 3 City and 3 Spurs. Not far at that sort of time. So that's what I am going to start to do, and start slowly but surely to build up. But saying that, I do have the wild card in the pocket, and I think a bench boost directly after the wild card is the standard way of doing it, I would say.
Yeah.
One of our guests on FPL Expectation, Sweng, has gone to Captain Souček.
Good man.
Brave boy.
I really
Brave
hope
boy.
it works. It'll do Souček Watch the world of good.
I mean,
a lot of love for Oliver the Cat in the comments. So
he's
he's on 100%. Ollie, say hi to your fans. They are loving you and your captaincy picks. Whilst you're here, Ollie, I've got a question for you. I'm on a -8, and considering swapping Laka for Firmino, which will give me -12. Too risky?
ooh, this is a tough one. Yeah, I would think it's risky.
Yeah.
Just Oliver's shaking his head.
Yeah. So it's a big no from Oliver the Cat, Mariner, as well as Joe.
He's just going to be sick now because I just shook him around.
Yeah, too risky, yeah, boys. Quick one, quickly, so people get time to sort their teams out before the deadline. We've got about 25 minutes left. I'd like to say 20. So you've got 5 minutes just to mess around, and hopefully the app or the site has not crashed. Dean Emma, should I do Rafinha to Souček? Or a -4, sorry. That's for a -4. So Rafinha to Souček, 4 or -4.
Tough one.
It is, because that's one of those ones where Rafinha could get a return. Souček's obviously got the extra game. That's a little bit more. It's almost. It's FOMO, isn't it? It's that FOMO of those fixtures there. I think.
Yeah.
Go with your. I would say it's 50-50. Go with your gut.
Okay. Vincent asked, what do you think of this double game week 19 team? Martinez, Diaz, Kufal, Cancelo, Bruno, KDB, triple captain. I don't know if it's triple captain KDB or Son. I hope it's KDB. Son, Grealish, Souček, Kane, Bamford. I'm worried.
I think it's a great team.
It's as good as you can get, right? Surely.
Yeah.
No Salah would be the only thing.
Yeah.
That the only thing that screams out. Maybe no Antonio, but he's got Kane on a really good fixture. I mean, Kane and Bamford don't have
single. Vardy. He could give himself an extra game with Vardy from Kane.
Yeah, that's what my thoughts are as well.
So if you can get a striker maybe that can get a double game week, Vardy, Vincent, that would be great. That's the opinion of the experts. Let's see. Trying to get some more questions. There are some down here. I'm just scrolling down. Bear with me. Sweng asked, does he start Justin Okufal?
Justin or Kufal?
For me, it would be Kufal. Just for the pictures.
But it's best if you can play both.
I
would probably go Kufal.
So it's Kufal all round. Dean asks, will Foster be starting in goals for Southampton? I believe McCarthy's back in training, right?
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
Okay, so probably not. Ankit Deb says, triple captain, Mr. Potato Salad. For those of you who don't know who he's on about, it's Souček. I don't know about triple captain. Very risky. Very risky.
No, I mean, even though I love him to bits, but I think that's a step too far.
Okay. Ensaladas says, Grealish are holding for bench spot 1. Rest of my bench is Forster and Brewster. Do we know if Forster plays this week? If so, bench boost.
Rest of the bench is Forster and Brewster. There's not many. Not many
players.
Brewster's been renamed Mr. Binary. He only scores 1s or 0s.
Yeah.
So if Forster doesn't play, you're probably going to be playing Grealish, which means you've got Holding, Brewster. There's been another one somewhere. Forster and one more, whoever that is. That's not a bench.
But it's not strong enough bench, is it, to activate that chip? We think that you shouldn't be playing your bench boost this week. Triple captain KDB or Zuma?
I think someone's taking the mick. No, I mean, look, Zuma, is he going to get 2 clean sheets? No.
Mate, triple captain. He's not even talking about captain. You're talking about triple captain.
No, you're not going to captain.
KDB, no brainer. I'm not even going to bother with that one. Sorry.
I'll tell you what, you've got to.
I mean, Craig, you know,
if anyone's got the balls to do that, then that's amazing.
I mean, we're slamming people for triple captaining Souček, and you're going with a defender.
What's wrong with Zuma? The guy's a monster.
Yeah, I mean, Craig, you know, we might have to visit this part of the show probably a few days later. You know, if
and I'll just be like this.
We've got to be very careful. We've got to be very careful here, boys. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you what, that would need balls of steel.
Yeah. Nickman asks, Martinez, Diaz, Cresswell, Stone, Souček, Rashford, Bruno, KDB, Wilson, Bamford, Vardy. 1, 2, 3. I think that's his first 11, and he asks his bench boosting subs are Johnston, Dallas, Bedronet, and Rafinha. Does he captain KDB or Vardy?
So Johnston's going to get. Probably going to get some save points, but they might concede a few as well. Yeah. Dallas, 1 game against Brighton, could always get an attacking return, may keep a clean sheet. Bednarek,
tough one.
Rafinha, always a chance of a return. I think that's, for me, that's a borderline bench boost. I'd have to think about that a bit more, but I'd say it's a bit borderline for me.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
Captain, what would you? You've got any? Joe, you've got Vardy on your side. Would you captain him this week?
I thought of it, you know, but my gut, you know, I would still prefer to captain a player from Man City with the fixtures. With the fixtures, you know, fixtures wise, City is definitely above Leicester, in my opinion.
Samuel DB, who has been on the show with us as well, along with Swain, who is watching. Rolling the free transfer, no City, no bench boost. I'm going to hell 40 years earlier than expected. No, you're not. No, you're not. Actually, no City. Yes, you are. You are. You're just asking for trouble there. What will we all do if we see Bowen up top for West Ham and Antonio bench? This is a good one. And I'll tell you what I would do. Smash something up in my house. I did call this a few weeks ago, though. I expected to see Bowen up top, actually. In one of the games, he didn't. I think Harlow was given his final few games with West Ham there. But is there a possibility of this happening, guys?
I hope not.
Yeah, I can only say I hope not too. I don't know. I still think Antonio will play 70 minutes each game. That's my gut feel. 60, 70 minutes.
Okay. Chandler Bing. Oh, nice of you to join us, mate. Start Tarkowski or Matip?
Is Matip fit?
No. He's back in training, sorry. He's back in training. Whether he played 2 games.
Yeah, Klopp did mention that he will give Matip a chance to be fit. So, you know, we don't know.
I don't know that I would take a risk on a flag player over somebody who's at least going to play, but saying that,
Tarkowski should be the one to captain, right? I mean, I think even if Matip does play against United, he'd probably be benched for the next one.
To play,
This is interesting. I've triple captained Cresswell, going all in. That is what you call going all in. I can't believe we've seen triple captain Souček. We've seen triple captain.
Have we got a load of Aussies on? It's late in the evening up there. They've been drinking.
That's a few down there, isn't it? We're going to go to Souček up top. Will probably take a hit to go Taylor to another Man City defender. Should I go Stones or Diaz? Diaz with greater potential for the tackle returns, but the extra 0.8 could come in handy with Stones.
My feeling here is I think Diaz might be just that bit more nailed than Stones. Stones is one mistake away from obscurity again, but he is cheap.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, if you can afford Diaz, go for Diaz.
Okay. If you can afford Diaz, go for Diaz. That is the opinion of the boys. Game week 19, Mendy, Justin, Cresswell, Stones, Bruno, Son, Salah, Suchek, Grealish, Antonio. Already taken a hit this week. What do you guys think? Should I get greedy and replace Salah with KDB? Oh, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one, boys.
I mean, if you want to go for KDB, probably replace Bruno or Son.
Yeah, I would go. If you're desperate to go for KDB, I think you go from a single weeker to a double game weeker, and if you've got the cash, go Son to KDB and all in on it. I think.
Okay.
If you've got the cash, but I don't know that I'd take Salah out. It's one of those ones where that could backfire. That could backfire terribly, couldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It could. Last question before we close up, to give you all the time to maybe go back in the stream and see something that you missed or you need clarifying on. This is the last one. Ali Sofian, Vardy to start both games. Now, he was flagged, I believe. I don't know if he still is, but he did have a good rest recently. What does he do? Does Vardy start both?
I think he will.
Yep. Mariner?
Yeah, I think he probably will. I think he's just so integral, and so they almost just patch him up and just wheel him back out again, don't they nowadays?
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I did say it was the last one, but we'll answer the last couple. Hi guys. Keep Kane and Son and bench boost with 11 double game week, or take a -4 for Salah and Antonio and bench boost with 13. Good question.
13 double gamers. So keep saying Kane and Son with bench boost with 11, or take a -4 Salah and Antonio bench boost with 13. Is that? I think the issue is it's just, as much as I've talked Antonio up, the issue is he's going to outscore Kane. I think, I might do. Yeah, I think I might do.
Take the hit, yeah.
Yeah, I might do. I might just say, do you know what? I just want an extra 2 matches.
Yeah.
Okay. And go for it. Joe, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think I would as well, because he's only going to take 1 hit for 2 players, so that's -2 for both players, and then you both play the extra game, it will even out.
Okay, we're gonna go a little bit quick here because we've only got about 10 minutes till the deadline. Going back to Navin, don't have enough for Son, could replace Bruno. That goes back to the question that we had earlier, like a couple of questions ago.
It goes back
to you do that? Would you do it?
Last night as well. We had a long talk about this one last night. How much value have you got in Bruno? I think is one of the big questions there.
Yeah, I mean, can you bring Bruno back the next week? That's a main question as well. If you can, then why not?
I think that's the way I look at it as well. Because I mean, realistically, look, if you take him out, he gets his yellow card, which obviously would suit a lot of people in some senses. He gets his yellow card, then he's back for Sheffield United, and then the fixtures turn a pretty good for Manchester United going forward, aren't they? Yeah. They've got Arsenal, Southampton, and Everton. So you'd think that there's more returns in there for Bruno. So if you're taking him out, you've got to find a way back.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect, boys. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for watching this stream. I know there's a question that came in really late, but we can't answer it because we've got 10 minutes to sort our own teams out, or less than that. So sorry, Mark. It was just a little bit too late for us to get to your questions.
Fire it on Twitter, Mark. I'll answer it.
Okay, Mark, tag FPL Expectations and FPL Mariner on Twitter, and he'll answer it for you. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you boys had a long one last night. You shared an hour and a half with me, so I really do appreciate it. And those of you who don't know, Mariner did start his own channel, which is really good, very informative. He's got a great lineup of experts on there. Mariner, do you just want to give it a plug?
Just very briefly, just called Net That Hall. Probably going to be a couple of shows a week. Normally on Tuesdays and Thursdays when the game weeks actually go back to a normal sort of time. But at the moment, it's a little bit all over the place. But yeah, very much stat-based rather than this is more of a chat around and more general, whereas my one's a little bit more stat-based, as you'd probably expect. So yeah, give it a subscribe. You'll find it on YouTube. It's a long show, so I've put the timestamp in the comments. So if you just want to look for the particular bits, if there's something you like, take a look.
Perfect. Joe, thank you so much for coming on as well. I know your time is very precious these days with everything they've got going on.
It needs to go and take some more hits. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think this was a really good distraction for him. So we didn't have to do it. But guys, thank you so much for coming on. Fantastic as always. Minus 16 by the time in the next 5 minutes. But good luck, and good luck to everyone out there. Thank you all for tuning into FPL Expectations. It is game week 19. It is the week where Astralicious himself said could be one of the most important game weeks in the FPL season. I wish you all the best from here at FPL Expectations. May the FPL gods be with you. And before I sign off, I'd just like to tell you, please do follow us on Twitter if you haven't. It's at FPL Expectations. Do follow the pundits at FPL Mariner, at Joe FPL, and please do follow me at Craig Morris 11. Do give FPL Expectations a subscribe and click the bell to get notified every time we upload content. It's been a great show. It's been a long one. Big week for game week 19. We wish you all the best for it.